Evidence-based astrology and physics and mathematics and astrology, part 2. Please go watch part 1 because there's a lot of depth to this. Vibrational astrology or evidence-based astrology is astrology that's solely based on the harmonics of your birth chart. So in vibrational astrology, conjunctions are the first harmonic, oppositions are the second harmonic, the trines are the third harmonic, squares are the fourth, quintiles are the fifth, etc., etc. You've never heard of a quintile before? It is no lesser aspect. If I want to look at my third harmonic in vibrational astrology, first of all, you're going to use astro-seek.com if you don't have advanced astrology software. But it would be grouping all of the trines into conjunctions in a third vibrational chart. Let's look at this grand trine here, right? That I have. It's part of fortune, Venus, and the south node. So if you add the absolute degrees of each one of those together, so like we got 166 degrees in the birth chart for this Venus. You add that to itself and then again, and then that would be the third harmonic because that's 166 3 times. And then you would do that with Saturn and the south node also. In theory, if you do that to each one of those placements and any trine in the birth chart, there will be a conjunction in the third harmonic chart. Let's check that. And would you look at that, we have Venus, the south node, and part of fortune all right there together. Anything that's a square in my birth chart would be conjunct in the fourth harmonic. Let's check that. So that's quite a few things here. Let's just check the sun, Jupiter, the moon, and then Uranus and Neptune over here because those are all square to each other. So they are all pretty much in the same location here, even though it's not like perfect conjunctions, but like when you multiply orbs on top of each other, the degree of error like tends to, like make them not conjunct, if that makes sense. So also in vibrational astrology, it's important to know that they do not use the zodiac signs at all because they're using absolute degrees. So it's kind of giving the theory of like, it doesn't matter who all's in the room, it only matters what their chemistry is. Now, how are they using vibrational astrology as an evidence-based form of astrology? Basically, some people have collected around, what I heard the number was about 90,000 AA rating birth charts, which means that they have like copies of birth certificates for these people. So like that's the confidence they have that the birth time is accurate. It's very important to have that for this type of astrology. What they're doing is they're looking at life tendencies, career paths. What is the person's essence? What is making that person who they are? And what is like the most comfortable type of energy they're exuberating. Basically, this data goes through like several phases of testing, and like what happens is they end up coming out with like for athletes, for medical people, for singers, for artists, for like veterinarians, what have you, like for all of these types of people who all have these like certain known tendencies, like things that you can document. They're measuring what's the most common types of vibrational charts for these people where they're having the highest amount of activity in each vibrational chart. So like, for example, one example that was given to me was people who are actors or people who've done the theater tend to have a lot of activity in their 17th vibration. And why that's beautiful, why that works is because like they're isolating the interactions between the planets. They're not looking at they're also not looking at like a lot of those other new like evolutionary astrology placements, like different asteroids. Like they're just kind of keeping it clean. I think they started using Chiron because again, they're really valuing the data that people have collected with Chiron, and Chiron's one of the older, newer placements, I guess you could say, that's been studied, and it's getting a lot of relevance. It doesn't seem like they're really even looking at houses. They don't care about any of that shit. They're literally just looking at the harmonics, the vibrations between planets. Something that I find the most fascinating is that each vibration that you go up, I thought initially you would see some correlation between numerology and the symbolism associated with numbers that we know about. Like I was like, oh, fifth vibration might be something related to Leo, or to like what they say the 5 is related to in numerology or in mysticism. But no. I mean, like a little bit, but like no. Additionally, it's more important for them to study, they're studying like every vibration as they move up, but it's more important for them to make a lot of point to study like the prime number vibrations. Why is that? Well, once you figure out 2 and 5, you can multiply those two together to make 10. So like 10 is sort of, they tested this theory of like, is 10 a combination of 5 and 2? And it seems like they came up with the answer was yes. So I got a sort of reading from an astrologer recently, Blue Ridge Astrology. Fan of the channel, you guys should check him out. He's a vibrational astrologer. And as it goes with every new astrologer that you get a reading from, or every new astrology discipline you look into, you're going to learn something different about yourself, because they're looking at you from a different angle. They're looking at you with different measurements, different aspects, different techniques, and it will bring different things out about you. Like, could I have deduced what he said about me based on the way that I study astrology? I can see it now that he's pointed it out, but it would have taken me a lot longer to get there. We often think as the sun sign as like the core of who you are. This is like your energetic essence, not who you feel you are, not how you identify. It's like, what is your energy actively doing on a daily basis? Not based on life events. It's not based on, again, your idea of yourself. Not based on these like abstract concepts. It's like literally tangibly, you can observe this person behaving this way, thinking this way. It's like kind of it's a through line in your personality, in your vocation a lot of times, which is, I think, the reason vibrational astrology has a lot of merit, because a lot of people are looking for like, what's their purpose? How do I put my energy to the best use? This is the new place you should go, is looking into vibrational astrology. It also, I felt, made compatibility readings, at least once they start developing like ways of doing compatibility readings, it's going to be more consistent. With compatibility, they're gonna see like, basically it's like, if you don't have the same vibrations in common, or at least most of them, you're not gonna get along very well. Very direct, not like, oh, you gotta measure all these, like, I liked the directness of it. So if this data continues to work, it continues to gather solid information, it's going to take a lot of the guesswork out of things. Now, as with every brand of astrology goes, it has its weaknesses, it has its shortcomings, but it has its major advantages, as other brands of astrology do. So, something that's been on my radar lately, I wanted to explain it. Anyways, I hope that made sense, and I hope I cleared up some other misunderstandings some people may have had about astrology in general, but I'm very new to it, so I can't really like teach it. Again, go check out Blue Ridge Astrology and find your essence, I guess.